Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's been doing all right today. There we go. Hello, hello. Been a while since we got to hang out here beachside before we got started with all the action, but again, hope it's been a good day for everybody. Not too bad for myself over here. Trying our best to hang on. Keep the kids entertained as best as possible, but also trying to get some work done. I know personally, I had a bit of a high, but a bit of a low at the same time here today. Worked pretty hard in the afternoon when I could sneak on over to the desk and do a little bit of video editing, and had successfully gotten the regular augment stream, or the regular augments video, and explaining that. Got that completed. Was very, very happy and excited to be able to do that. However, though, I did kind of break my streak, unfortunately. Well, kind of and not really. It depends on how you call it. But personally, I'm saying that I broke the streak. I had a YouTube short going since my debut, one per day, up until today. Unfortunately, granted, I did still post something today, because of course the augment video is out. But streak broken, but it is what it is. It was going to happen eventually. Not gonna lie, a month and a half in, isn't too bad. Of course, everything on the docket here for today. We are going to start things off with the recap of the first Illuvium Pro League, the IPL 250 that just happened last weekend. Go over the website, go over the results. We don't have a total standing currently in regards to total IPL points, but we do have at least the results from the weekend. We'll go over that together and then briefly talk about this next weekend coming up. Lots of exciting talk for the most part across this next one, which is going to be a little bit bigger, the IPL 500. A little bit of a higher prize pool, a little bit more points on the line in this one. And from what it looks like, a bigger pool of participants is allowed in this one. But of course, we'll get into that very, very shortly. After that, of course, to keep my casting on point, keep it sharp, I did manage to record the latest Dreamers Esports DayDream Illuvium Arena tournament. So we will cast over that one. Should be fun once again, as always. Then after that, we will see, because of course I like to have these streams go about 2.5 hours tops here. If we have some time afterwards, maybe we'll sneak a ranked game or two in. Unless something else comes up that needs some attention. So yeah, that's the game plan for today. Briefly setting some things up still here. Oldest one didn't really want to go to bed tonight, unfortunately, so it took a little bit of extra convincing, in a good way, to get him to sleep. So I didn't get to necessarily prep everything immediately, so bear with me for that. Optimally, I would have had this done ahead of time, but at the same time, I don't want to be completely glued to my screen all day. Just getting the Illuvilytics set up and good to go here. I might not necessarily have anything to show, so okay. One brief moment and we will be all set here. Okay. Let's bring the music down ever so slightly. Okay. So of course the first Illuvium Pro League tournament happened just last weekend. 2-day event, qualifiers happened on Friday, and then the main event of sorts on the Saturday afternoon. Was pretty exciting, good to see. I was happy to see that Illuvium themselves did get a stream up and going, and it looks like it had some pretty decent interest nonetheless. I think on X specifically had about 2,000 or so viewers on the broadcast itself as a total. There was, of course, the Twitch and YouTube options as well, so it was good to see that they had the stream up. They got their big tournament covered one way or another. And then I know there'll be more of that to come as well. We do have, of course, the results of everything that did go by. So, of course, all these players, like everybody was basically playing in the sit and go, the qualifiers, to try and get into that top 32. I believe it was only the top 8 that made it into the actual tournament based off of their ranked leaderboard points, or ranked leaderboard position rather. And the rest of it was you had to play in the sit and goes to win. Of course, if I pull that up right here, right now. Let's see. I can probably make this a little bigger here so you can get a better look at it. Screw it, we do it live. But yes, of course, here we go. So the top 32 made it in, and of course the quarterfinals. This is the first one that ended up happening. Oh, hang on. Bear with me, resume this in just a second here. Sorry about that. Oldest one needed a band-aid, it looks like here. But he's all fixed up, but if you hear a little bit of banging in the background, that's why. My apologies. But again, top 32, or excuse me, 20. I keep losing track of my... This has been a stream already, hasn't it? But steal this over here. Of course, again, 24 came in off of a sit and go qualifier. Top 8 made it in through the leaderboard placements. And the quarterfinals, you had, of course, Neriba from Team OLA, Nefer from Team Phantom, Thanatos Hype, Unhappy, Kirito Hype, Janakinho from Sora, FRK from Team Phantom, as well as Nika. Moving on there, that was going to be Nefer, Thanatos, Unhappy, and OLA's Neriba, which I'm guessing based off of the breaking themselves. Trying to see if there's any sort of major upset based off of that alone. But not necessarily. Majority of the people who were, I guess, kind of predicted to make it in, did get it in. The only one who's diamond or higher that did not quite make it in, surprisingly, would be Nika, but at the same time I've seen Unhappy in many tournaments, so it's not like they are new to this at all. Match 2, you had Fox Spirit Atlas, you had Slicks Hype, Moo Hype, Patch Tourist, Zico Perico, Potato Hype, Sota Hype, Kalexum from Team Phantom. Moving on from that one, of course, Zico Perico. I mean, we've seen Zico Perico consistently, or pretty much all these players, in whether it be Dreamers Esports or in the Leviathan tournament, and now here in the IPL as well. Getting to see them in action once again and seeing them do well in this one, but there was definitely some upsets here. Zico Perico, of course, making it out, Potato Type making it out, Slicks Hype making it out, and then Ma from Team Hype as well making it out. But the two big ones I think that had a lot of people surprised, at least to me anyway, was Fox Spirit, who of course I believe is number 2 in the world based off of the ranked leaderboard, and then Sota Hype, who we've seen do very, very well in the Leviathan tournament, just got basically skunked in that group, unfortunately. So, finding the 8th position there. So, that was pretty crazy to move on into the semifinal. But for the next match here for the quarterfinals, of course, Web3 Gaming Hype, I believe they were either 2nd or 3rd in the ranked leaderboards. Fury Hype, we've seen them a ton. Hollow Hype, Psycho Hype. As you can tell, there is a damn lot of hypes here in this tournament. OLA's The Show, Wolverine Hype, CFGD, and then Deno from Team Phantom. And again, some names that maybe we don't necessarily see too often, but may not have necessarily been new to the competitive side of things here in Illuvium, making their way in there, because I was going to be led up by Psycho Hype, followed by Hollow Hype, followed by Wolverine 777 Hype, and then Web3 Gaming TV Hype, rounding up the board. So, like Fury Hype again from the Leviathans, the Dreamers Esports tournaments. We've seen them do well. Not going to end up starting off on the right foot here for the IPL, but thankfully there are plenty more tournaments to come. OLE The Show fell in as well. So some rather high-ranked individuals just unfortunately barely making it, or just not having their day, to say the least, as we go into the final round of the first part of the quarterfinals. Because, of course, the one thing that I even just needed a brief reminder on, as I see quarterfinals round 2 there, of course, they did best of 2s right off the rip for the day 2 of the IPL. So, as I'm calling out these players that didn't quite make it, it doesn't mean they didn't necessarily make it. That's just they did well in the first game, but they could, of course, come back. So, a little bit of a shock to my system to remember that one. Whoopsie. Yeah, so with that, then I can kind of speed through this just a tiny bit more. So, kind of rebooting that. So, of course, with the Illuvium Pro League Day 2, again, 24 players qualified in off of the ranked play-ins. Then 8 more, of course, did qualify based off of their leaderboard position in ranked. The first matches, of course, it led the charge here with Nefer, Thanatos Unhappy, and OLA's Nariba. Then for match 2, Zico Perico, Potato Hype, Slicks Hype, Moo Hype. Then for match 3, Psycho Hype, Hollow Hype, Wolverine Hype, Web3 Gaming Hype. Hype all over the place here. And then match 4, so this is where things also kind of got a little bit interesting. We know not to complain, and we know I'm a fishy from past tournaments, but AI Blaze as well as Elemenko from Team Atlas leading the charge here. So a lot of players kind of in an awkward spot to try and make it work here in this second round. And I tell you what, Nefer, they cleaned things up here for their round. Like, they made their way in. Ole Nariba made it in, Unhappy with another fantastic finish. And then Nika got the 5th the first time, but gonna make it count here and get 4th the second. We'll see if they, of course, move on in a moment. As for match 2, that's Fox Spirit getting their 2nd 5th in a row, so a little bit of an upset there. Potato Hype, though, that is kind of an odd spot to kind of get themselves into. They did well in the first one, but did not necessarily get it in the second, and that's where Patch Tourist really showed up in that second match. But Zico Perico sweeping both of them, winning them both, and then Slicks Hype with a good finish as well. We'll catch up with that group in, of course, just a second. Match 3 of the quarterfinals. We do see Fury Hype make the comeback here. CFGD with a fantastic finish as well, getting on the podium there for that one. Web3 Gaming TV Hype winning the lobby, and then Wolverine ending up in 4th place. But this was extremely weird because Psycho Hype unfortunately went from winning the lobby to getting last, so that big head start they had really hurt them going into this one, and I think that costs them in the long run here. Meanwhile, in the 4th spot, a very similar situation, except instead of Psycho Hype, this was for AI Blaze. They ended up, of course, winning the first round, but then in the second one, they only got 7th, really hurting the amount of points they scored, and I do believe that costs them here. I'm a Fishy, not complain. Lynx getting a good comeback round here, getting 3rd place in this one. And then another solid finish for LMNKO. So this got us into the semifinals, of course, which does have Nefer, Nariba, Unhappy, Thanatos, Patate, Ma, Slicks, Zico Perico, Web3 Gaming, Wolverine, Hollow, Fury, AI Blaze still does make it on in. Lynx, Not Complain, and I'm a Fishy. Some well-fought battles in the quarterfinals, but we continue to move on forward. And Zico Perico's strong run of finishes in this first of the best of twos does come in clutch once again with yet another victory. Followed up by Nefer, who ends up getting 2nd, Thanatos, and then Ma. But it's going to be Nariba, Patate, Slick, Sype, and Unhappy, falling maybe ever so slightly behind here in the start of that one. But then on the other side, I'm a Fishy leads the lobby. Hollow Hype, Wolverine Hype, and then Lynx rounding up the top 4. Not Complain, AI Blaze, Fury, and Web3 Gaming rounding up the lobby. But the big one for me, of course, personally, I've seen a little bit of I'm a Fishy so far in the Dreamers Esports tournaments in particular. And one thing that's kind of makes me happy personally, and I'm not throwing any biases, but I love when players come in, actually because they were interested about the game. And I'm a Fishies definitely seem to be one of those players. I'm not knocking anybody who's into your crypto coins and your NFTs and whatnot. I know personally I do not care, and I'm just a gamer as well. I just want to play a good game. And to see someone like I'm a Fishy come on in here and express that they're just here to learn, just here to compete, didn't necessarily take it too seriously initially, but seeing the IPL and made a good push for it, seeing them come on through and do well in these early rounds especially, it was just definitely nice to see. But it goes to everybody, of course. Again, no biases, but it was just a bit of a feel-good story seeing them go from the Dreamers Esports tournaments and then doing well here in the IPL. Second round of the first group, Zico Perico finally loses their win streak in probably the most devastating ways of a fashion. Same thing with Nefer getting a podium streak here. Zico Perico was winning constantly, got 8th. Nefer was in the top 2 constantly, got 7th. So they really put themselves in a scary spot as Slicks, Ma, Nariba, and Thanatos all had a very, very good run in that second round. Definitely putting the pressure on. Meanwhile, on the other group, Hollow finds their first victory of the tournament. Wolverine and Web3 getting themselves onto the podium. Fury getting a decent run into 4th place, but we'll have to see if that's enough to bump them in there. I'm a Fishy 5th, and hopefully that win in the first round was enough to kind of move them forward. Not Complain in 6th, Lynx 7th, and then AI in 8th, which of course brought us to our finals. Ma Hype, Slicks Hype, Thanatos Hype, Zico Perico, I'm a Fishy, Web3 Gaming TV Hype, Wolverine 777 Hype, and Hollow Hype. As you can tell, there is a lot of hype in members in here. I believe even I'm a Fishy. It doesn't show it here on the screen itself, but I do believe they are also Team Hype. So it was basically almost a hype lockdown, with the exception of Zico Perico, which, to be fair, is an absolute competitive monster in their own right. Look, their rank might only say Platinum 3. I say only, let's be honest, he's like 600, they're like 600 more rating than I am, so what am I talking? But the Platinum 3 compared to Grandmaster and whatnot, and yet they are taking lobbies pretty consistently, at least in the early rounds. We'll see how that translates out for them. So far, right off the rip, it ended up actually being Slicks and I'm a Fishy leading the charge alongside Wolverine and Zico Perico, with Web3, Hollow, Ma, and Thanatos rounding up the lobby. Then got into a point where Web3 finds themselves with the victory, Ma getting themselves a second, making up for that 7th early on in the battle. Slicks with another solid finish, making it onto the podium in 3rd. Thanatos, I'm a Fishy, Wolverine, Hollow, and then Zico Perico find themselves in last here in this one, which brought us to our very, very final part of this best of 3. The one for all the marbles of sorts to get the best points possible, and Slicks, of course, taking the victory here. Definitely huge, putting him into the position to win the entire tournament, followed up by I'm a Fishy, Hollow, Web3 Gaming, Thanatos, Wolverine, Ma, and Zico Perico. Like, I'm not sure about any sort of way that you can do any sort of team orders or something here, but literally the only person that could have gotten hindered by that was Zico Perico, and it's unfortunate that 2 of these grand finals matches that kind of fell down in an 8th, but still, of course, the prizing was still absolutely immaculate. Don't have the exact numbers or the exact breakdown as of this moment. I might actually have it nearby here. Final results. There we go. Yeah, so making it into 8th place, in the very least, assuming that's where you finish, that's still an $87.50 payday. And that is absolutely immaculate. Not bad for a weekend's worth of gameplay. But of course, a 4th and onward is where your paydays really start to get juicy, of course. As we do take a look again at the official final results. Again, Slicks finding the 1st, 3rd, 1st in that final was absolutely clutch. Shoutouts, of course, again to I'm a Fishy for getting on in there as well. Getting 2nd place, what a day. Web3 Gaming, after having a couple rough rounds early in the tournament, really picking it up as it went along, securing 3rd. Wolverine 777 Hypes doing a solid job getting themselves into 4th. Same thing with Hollow Hype. Ma Hype, of course, Ma, one of our Dreamers Esports regulars as well. See a ton of them. Good to see him doing well. Thanatos Hype, and then Zico Perico rounding out the field. But still, awesome little payday. And of course, that is just the very, very first IPL. We do have another one coming up just this weekend, or this weekend coming up. Once again, similar kind of scenario where we're going to be getting things started on Friday with another sit and go. But from what I understand, again, a little bit of broken information, so please do take with a grain of salt and make sure that you keep an eye on the Illuvium Discord or X channels to get the exact information. But from what I understand, the amount of entries basically doubles for day 2, if I'm recalling correctly. They're allowing for 64 compared to the 32 that we saw last weekend. And that's because anybody who has IPL points as of right now, I believe, either if you have IPL points or are ranked a certain amount with IPL points, get an immediate invite into day 2. So the first part on Friday is kind of everybody's opportunity. The newer players that maybe haven't had the opportunity to compete yet, or they haven't gotten their chance to score a day 2 berth so far. They had a hard time in the last open qualifier, the last sit and go. A perfect opportunity for them to kind of sneak in as well. And it's been nice to see. Sure enough, the Pro League has brought in a bunch of new eyes, and from what I understand, the actual marketing for Illuvium technically hasn't even really started yet. We did get to see the trailer for the arena, for the IPL as well. So it was really, really cool to see that the marketing side of things and the hype is slowly starting to building outside of the lobbies themselves, especially if there's 7 out of 8 of them. But we're getting there. And it's been exciting to be a part of so far, and it's only getting better. I know personally, I have been seeing the work dedicating this month to Illuvium has been interesting, to say the least, and I'm very, very happy overall with how it's going, because, like, sure, when I was covering the few college esports topics that, like, I was doing before, like, it would probably get me more views, but the problem is most of it was angry views, and nobody, like, really cared for the most part. For every comment that I got that was positive, it was probably like 5 to 10 before that telling me that my opinion was wrong and that I should delete my account or delete myself, if you know what I'm saying. But with Illuvium, while the viewers might be smaller, everybody's been so appreciative, and that's why I know I sound like a broken record, but I thank the Illuvium community so much for accepting me in and enjoying the stuff that I make, and definitely looking forward to more. Once I get official confirmations on things, because of course I keep saying that there's exciting things around the corner, possibly as well some other opportunities for myself. Once I have that locked down, I'll be sure to share that all with you. Just don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, so to speak. But one way or another, you know that I'm going to be looking to cover the IPL 500 coming up right now. No wedding or anything to get in the way this time. In regards to Friday, we will see. Maybe I'll hop on and compete, or I'll probably, more than likely, let's be honest, I'll probably be just watching matches from the Illuvialytics website here and there while I'm playing with the kids. But come Saturday, I definitely want to help cover things one way or another. So again, once I know exactly how, I'll let you know. Looking forward to it nonetheless. It's going to be earlier this time too. Instead of the 2 p.m. start, they dedicated this tournament a little bit more towards like a European time slot. So I know personally for me, it's a 10 a.m. start for both days. So a little bit earlier, but at least not too early. I was worried that I'd have to wake up at like 3 in the morning for a 4 o'clock tournament or something along the lines. But no, not like that. But without further ado, let's switch scenery up here from the beach to the arena itself, because we got to keep our casting up to snuff here. I think it's been about a week since I did it. So no better time than now, of course. And without further ado, we shall kill the music and get into the swing of things. At 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Excuse me. Alright, let's get into this. Dreamers Esports DayDream Illuvium tournament here for Illuvium Arena. Grand finals action once again here. This matchup just happened on August 19th. This happened just a couple hours ago, actually. We have our 8 players that had a very, very like tough battle, honestly, for a Dreamers Esports tournament. Normally, we're hovering around the like 16 to 24 player mark, but I think this time we were almost loaded up at about like 30 some odd players, which was definitely impressive to see. I love to see that the community tournaments are growing alongside the IPL, and just competitive Illuvium in general has been taken off. Absolutely loving to see it. Get that full confirmation exactly how many players ended up competing. 29, so yeah, almost 30 players here in today's tournament. I don't want to say that's a record, but it's at least been a high since I've been casting it, so absolutely love to see it. Now, of course, our players here in this grand final, a couple of familiar faces, a couple of new faces as well. We got Arthalex, we have the Fancy Pants, which is the first time I think I've seen them here. Fury Hype, Witty Monarch, Detective Alanay, Not Complain, Ole Nariba, and then Maru, who I believe is also new here. Or at least it's the first time I'm seeing them here in this grand final that I happen to be casting. Of course, all this part of the Dream Ladder, so every event for about the month, I believe, all goes into a big ladder. How you finish here in these Dreamers Esports tournaments does give you points towards that ladder, which in the end can score you some prizes at the end of the month. It also includes teamfight tactics as well, so keep that in mind. Maybe that's a benefit for you, maybe that's a hindrance, but it is an option. Of course, as always, if you want to get involved, links in the description. Take a look at Fancy Pants versus Fury Hype here for this time. Rogues for this side of Fury Hype, and Rogues on the side of Fancy Pants. And I tell you what, these Rogues diving immediately onto that Fleesh. I mean, poor fella, you barely could even be able to get your beam off before you get taken down that time. And immediately, good blinds come on out here from the Chuko. And it is, well, not even the Chuko, it was the middle stage one coming out here from Fury. Tries to do its best, leads the charge in terms of damage on the team, but it is nothing compared to the damage we see here from Fancy Pants and their Greater Gorilla in particular. Of course, again, lots of players that we recognize. Of course, Detective Alanay, we've seen them here many, many times. I think that he may have squeaked one win in here not too long ago. Not Complain has secured a win here for sure, know that. Witty Monarch, I find them basically in every single grand final, but have not quite found the luck necessary to get themselves into a top 2. Definitely know that they are going to be eager for a win as we see them here up against Not Complain. Not Complain going for a very, very early Empath Aegis composition, since that Archos that we see in the top right does have the double stacks of that Elder Surge for some additional healing to the team. So anybody that huddles around that Archos is going to be healed up big time, but some big damage coming in immediately onto that Groko is going to break the line. I think that was really the only tank outside of the shields here for the side of Not Complain, but there is some bodies falling here. Winnie with a very, very early Fur Knight as well, shooting from the edges, as well as that Lynx chopping away with that Fury Heart, doing a ton of damage. Is going to eventually fall, but with that Fur Knight pocketed by the Archie and the 2 Rogues on top of them, there is not going to be anything that Not Complain can do this time. Big damage going to be coming out here for Winnie. Maru taking a lot of heat early on in this round. See Not Complain once again going up against Nariba. Arthalex and Fury Hype. Arthalex is another one of those players that's always just been on the doorstep. Almost always, basically, in these Dreamers Esports tournaments, we see them within that top 5. As close as 3rd, if I recall correctly. As we see Arthal going up against Fury Hype. A very, very similar kind of corner-style composition with the Archos that does have that steadfast pulse. So everything surrounding it is going to be getting additional mitigation every couple of seconds. But meanwhile, the Rogues and Predator style coming out here from the side of Fury Hype. We've seen it before. We're going to see it maybe again here. Can it burst through this very, very tanky style coming out here for Arthalex? So far, they were able to take care of one. They are on top of the Archos. Some decent damage being done, but at the same time, these rogues are getting low. I think Arthalex will be able to hold the line. Some decent damage coming on in once again here. And a very, very early, I want to say Adordo? Coming on in here for the sign of Arthalex. Very, very early tier 5, as we do see another tier 5. Somebody had a Ramphy already, which is kind of crazy. Now, of course, one of the big topics that keeps seeing over and over again in the Discord is still people crying about Rogue Revenant, but an interesting thing seems to have kind of happened in a lot of these tournaments and a lot of these matches that I'm seeing. It's that, yes, people know about it, and a lot of people are going for it. So because a lot of people are going for it, nobody truly gets to go for it unless they're alive at the end of the game. And even then, before they used to see unstoppable, now they seem at least mortal. It's still good, but it doesn't look unbeatable. But we still do see people, like again, as we ride along with Maru as they go up against Fury Hype, who immediately went for Revenant. It's just, again, still very, very strong. Diving on through. So far, it looks pretty good here for Fury Hype. Maru, and their tank line is kind of split here. Gonna be able to take care of the one, and at least that Pyre in the back line has been able to just open fire up until the point that Grilla just dove right on top of them. Greater Grilla coming on through. It's just a matter of isolating out these tanks and taking them down now, and that will be a clean up here for Fury Hype. And of course, I have been taking your feedback in the YouTube comments section or in the Twitch, Kick, YouTube chats, wherever you may happen to be watching these. And I will put down the center ice view for now. It seems like a lot of people have been wanting me to do just like the default or pretty close to default kind of camera style. So I will for the matches itself. For these NPC rounds, I might have a little bit of fun, but in terms of the actual gameplay themselves, I will have it so that one team's on the bottom, one team's on top, and as best as possible, I'm going to make it so that the player in the green health bars is always the one with the higher health, and the one with the red health bars would be lower. Not always going to be perfect, but it is going to be something I'm trying to do. And the one thing that I do find kind of interesting as well, even though a lot of these players might be going for similar kind of play styles, there are some mixtures and some variations that are kind of nice to see. So even though it might be Rogue or it might be Rogue Revenant, some people are like putting in fire with it. Some people are going Earth. Some people are going Mud. I would say people are going Water, but let's be honest, nobody actually goes Water. You're either going for Rogues Fighters or a Nature Bunker comp. It seems like those are the top 3 kind of styles overall here that I've at least been seeing personally. But I'd love to be wrong, and I'd love to see something different. Currently taking a look at 2 of our players down at the bottom in terms of their health bars. We do see Not Complain alongside Maru. Maru, 5 bulwarks, has that extra bonus reflective damage, has that Periox loaded up with items as well. Of course, you got Mindstorm, you got Chrono Flux, and the Fate Sealer. So that Periox is about as loaded and as good as it could be. Meanwhile, on the other side here, for the side of Not Complain, loaded up with the 2 Elder Surges still, and the Super Chicken is ready. 2 Chrono Fluxes on that Fur Knight. Longer this game goes on, the scarier it's going to be, but it could be counteracted a little bit by that Periox up in the top right corner with the help of the TNT for a little bit of burst damage. In terms of the front line, it looks like so far Maru has been able to hold as the Periox starts to load on up, and so does the Fur Knight. The Wildfire procs are coming on through, and how much can this Archos heal for, though? It is going to be taking all of the damage. It's going by pretty quickly. But at the same time, look at this Fur Knight. It is loaded up. Machine Gun Fur Knight coming up in just a second. 2 full health carries here. But there we go. Carry versus carry. And it is going to go into the favor of the Fur Knight. And now it's just a matter of dealing with that TNT. There it goes, the super chicken indeed, coming in clutch once again. Not just one Chrono Flux, but two machine gun chicken. Where did that sound come from? That had to have been an emo, right? That timing was just impeccable. But hopping along here towards the top half of the battle, we do see Ramp Fight loaded up and ready to play here for Nariba, that Apex Supercharger, Phoenix Surge, and the Chrono Flux on top of it. And hang on, that's not even Nariba's. That was actually Fancy Pants's. But Nariba has one of their own. Ion Shard, turning it into a Scion as well, alongside the Supercharger and the Octius. So not only is that Ramp Fight going to be able to knock enemies low, if not one shot, you have the backup from that Octius, and lots of items onto the Arctase as well. Lots of threats here on the side of Nariba as we see them dive on through. The Mammoth is there to catch. So far able to hang on tight. One does go down. Here comes one of the Ramp Fights. This is the one on the side of Fancy Pants. Does some pretty decent damage, but now here comes Nariba. It's going to be a clean sweep here. The positioning was strong. Coming in clutch here for Nariba. Had that Inferno procced as well for that extra little bit of damage. Meanwhile, Fancy Pants had the Bloom instead that you can't sustain if you're already dead. And that is going to be, of course, Nariba taking that one. Players have been getting pretty decent at actually trapping rogues now, making positions where they have to either do a little bit of a maze or have to awkwardly fight their way through and crawl through. But as we see the carousel, of course, these are some fully loaded items this time, fully loaded augments, no fragments this time, just strictly going to be loading. And it's weird to see the Not Complain immediately goes for the Sunder Matrix. It's one of those augments that I would put pretty low on my priority list personally. Artholex getting that Steadfast Pulse is definitely going to be clutch, though. They were playing a bunker composition. They have the Archos, so we know exactly where that is going. Didn't catch everything else at the time being, but we'll keep on rolling here. Nariba back once again here with that Inferno style, going up against Winnie Monarch now. Winnie up on the right-hand side has a lot of items onto their tank. The Twine is there. It has the Vengeful Mantle for that extra thorns. Also has the Apex Supercharger as well, so those vines are going to actually hit pretty hard. Meanwhile, on the other side, that Fur Knight is, of course, locked and loaded, or as Winnie's Fur Knight locked and loaded as well, putting it up front, ready to go, as the Twine is in the back line, and so is the Flare and Heady to try and catch the rogues. By how much value does this or not the Monarch, but the Arctase plus Ramp Fight combo go? It does take down the Twine, but so far that's it, but there is enough bodies here to just clean up. The Octius firing off shots from the background as well. The Ranger actually flanking in and taking shots as well. Pretty well uncontested. Some beautiful damage coming out here from the side of Nariba once again. But the Arctase leading the charge, even over the Ramp Fight, making that Carpet Bomb work for them. The Arctase is just such an interesting unit to me, or the Ace Arctase or the Monarch, because the Carpet Bomb, or just the laying down the fire trail, and the damage it does over time, I never find it very, very valuable, but again, I think I'm probably just undervaluing the dot, and I'm seeing more and more players catch on to this and start actually using it properly. Before, the only time that you'd really get the Arctase is just to try and get the Inferno proc, but people are doing a very good job now of itemizing it, getting the proper item or the augments on top of it, and making it do a ton of damage. We see Nariba once again, but this time it's going to be alongside Detective Aline, who's running the 5 fighters, 3 bulwarks, with the fully leveled up Lynx actually going to be the one leading the charge. Does manage to have the polar bear up to stage 2 as well. Has the forest in here as well. That ace got nearly one shot, but thankfully due to that Ion Shroud, they are going to be able to get a dodge for just a second. Here comes the ramp fight. To the skies it goes. Burns down 3. Just a matter of dealing with the twine, and then the Lynx up into the north side. Carpet bomb gonna land directly on top of Lynx. It's gonna sit in the flames, and that Lynx is not long for this world. Nariba putting Detective Alané in a little bit of a world of hurt this time. And that's exactly how it goes. Ramp fight, 7,000 damage in that fight when it is able to find itself in a perfect position for those Omega abilities. Meanwhile, that Lynx on the side of Detective Alané, I think it led the lobby, or not the lobby, but led that match with 8,000 DPS. The thing was doing work, and it has a little bit of burst damage, but unfortunately it could only go so far so fast. It had the Mendo skeleton as well to try and keep itself sustained through that fight as it snowballed through. I could not get the job done this time. But as we go for another NPC round, taking a look at Arthalex's squad, we're seeing the double Steadfast Pulse coming on through, and this is just scary because those do stack. From what I understand, that does stack. So that's every 3 seconds, I believe, or every 4 seconds you get 3 mitigation. So you're getting 6 mitigation to anything that actually surrounds the Archos in that 20 hex space. And if they manage to get to the a yellow fragment, they can maybe make a chance to try and get a third Steadfast Pulse, which would be absolutely ridiculous. A little all in, but pretty ridiculous. Would really rely on you to make sure that everybody doesn't move, and sure enough, there it is. 3 Steadfast Pulses onto a single Archos. So this thing is going to be giving out 9 mitigation to everybody on its team within 20 hexes. Going to be extremely valuable as we go up against the Fancy Pants, who has the Rogues, has the Revenants, the Tried and True, coming on through with 2 major health buffs on its Lavura as well, and of course a fully loaded ramp fight. This is a scary composition, a scary team. Can they tank this though? The first proc should be coming on through. Here comes the heal going across the entire team here for Arthalex, and so far, even throughout the ramp fight ult, it is going to be tanked through. The Cardalo is going to be the first to fall. The Crunk is going to be probably right there as well. Good blind though, slowing things down. The second ramp fight ult though is going to be right on target. The front line is starting to fall. The Archos is going to fall, so is the Fur Knight. It is all down to the Dordo, and it is not going to be able to hold the line. A very respectable job here from this bunker composition of Arthalex, but we're seeing Fancy Pants do exactly what they needed to do with the Rogue Revenants and coming in clutch. The fact they have that fully loaded ramp fight is doing some nasty work for them. But we might be on the point where we start getting players on the bubble. Winnie Monarch, once again, I don't mean to commentators curse them, but again, having a very, very rough start to this one. And what on earth is this build? Of course, we know that they have that Fur Knight completely loaded up with that Fury Heart and Fate Sealer, but what is going on with the Crunk? We have that thing with the Vengeful Mantle, so sure enough, with the barbs and whatnot, or a little bit of thorns, but the 2 Apex Superchargers? That is absolutely bonkers. Meanwhile, Fancy Pants not only had that ramp fight, but now the Umber has come out to play, and the Malura, they've managed to find the fully evolved version. So the Super Tank Rogue coming on through, gave it the Phoenix Shroud as well. And we see again, ramp fight coming out to play, and it's just not looking too good here for the side of Winnie Monarch. That Umber has basically been untouched. Periox is going to fall. Fur Knight's going to fall. But Winnie Monarch shall not fall. Not yet. Hanging on by a thread here with 3 health. And trying to make this nature, fire, wildfire kind of start, this kind of composition working, but Don't know if they're just missing a critical piece or what, because they do feel, at least personally, it feels like they are kind of lost at the moment. I'm not 100% sure as to what the Crunk would want so much Omega power for, unless I am missing something, which is absolutely possible. Maybe instead of explaining augments, next time it'll be explaining Illuvial abilities. That way I get to learn a little bit as well. But Winnie now going up against Detective Valanet, and oh dear god, that is a cracked out polar bear. Jotun ready to play Mendo Skeleton Power Diverter alongside the Veil Piercer. So as this goes on, it's not going to miss. And its Omega power going over towards attack speed is just going to make it a menace. Look how fast In the Lynx just chunked both of those Illuvials. Now it's on to the Crunk, and even with the blinds, it does not matter. They're going to absolutely crush you. The Archos is supposed to be tanky, but it gets completely shredded on through. The Lynx coming on through to take care of the Singe as well. And one after another, they're going to fall. The entire squad coming out here from Detective Valanet to absolutely send Winnie Monarch packing with a solid top 8 finish here in this tournament, but unfortunately first out in this lobby. So lobby as it stands right now, Fury Hype leading the charge alongside newcomer Fancy Pants. With of course Maru and Not Complain on the bubble. Detective Valanet in third as this moment, hanging on. Nariba still here, Arthalex still here, of course, as well. I'm going to probably ride along here with this one, and let's see if Maru has enough firepower to put the hurt in here onto Arthalex's bunker. We do see the Archos with a little bit more of a reserved position, all the way in the back line here for Arthalex, compared to trying to be the center of the team. Just really focusing on trying to keep that healer, the deer, as well as the Fur Knight topped off. Doesn't necessarily matter so much about the tanks, which is risky in its own right, but I guess when you're used to dealing with the rogues, that is something to keep in mind. But Maru is not worried about playing as a rogue. They are, of course, Scion Bulwark Harbinger. We'll have to see how this one ends up going. A lot of damage into the backline early into this one. The deer is going to be able to save them, but a lot of damage coming out from what feels like nowhere. Going to take care of the deer. The Fur Knight gets stunned up there in perfect timing here by the Goliath on the side of Maru, and they are pushing on through. And this is exactly why it's so scary as the bunker to try and take this reserve position. The tanks were vulnerable that entire time, and one way or another, Arthalex just took so much damage in the backline as well, and they're just going to try their best to tear on through. Now they're holding the line. Maybe those steadfast pulses are finally enough to hold. The overtime is coming on through, but the overtime pulses are still too much. Arthalex going to take the damage this time, putting themselves now on the bubble. Going to give himself first pick now as we go into this carousel. Not Complain, we did lose them, unfortunately, here in this lobby as well. I'm going to be taken down in the 7th position. Maru looking for the flare, maybe to coincide alongside that Periox would be awesome. Arthalex, they did have the Twine already, maybe looking for that Gnarl. Nariba, of course, again also had that ramp fight already going. Get the ramp feed, pick it on up. Fury's got the dash for an additional rogue. Detective Valanet did not quite see what they picked up this time, but you can kind of see all these picks making sense for the most part here. And Fancy Pants picking up a Stabbin'. So, of course, that's the middle evolution of the Penguin. And we've seen what happens when the Penguins happen to just be left alone. If they get supercharged, if they get items, it's going to be scary. But Fury Hype was Rogue Revenant, 5 fighters, 3 bulwarks, and 2 behemoths here for the side of Detective Valanet. Rogue Revenant as well coming out here from Fancy Pants, 7 Rogue, 3 Revenant, 2 Vanguards, because of course they have the Malura, so the extra tank there could be a difference maker. Nariba, Air, Fire, Inferno, of course, relying on that ramp fight Arctase combination. Maru's got the Magma. They did manage to get the Singe, so we're able to get the Magma composition, make that corner a little bit more sustainable, a little bit safer for themselves as they go on through. Arthalex still hanging on to the Nature Wildfire, but of course Maru and Arthalex are here on the bubble. The pressure is on here for Maru. We do see that Arctase has evolved into the Monarch, fully evolved. And this is something that I've seen a couple of players too, that Nariba's kind of showcasing. Why are all of the units, why are all the Illuvials off the board with the exception of the 2 Phantoms? Because if you, the way that it is right now, I think it's your composite crate, or the crates in terms of trying to get what kind of roles and classes and affinities. It is based off of your board, not your bench. So if you actually clear your board with the exception of certain Illuvials, you give yourself a better chance at getting the class or affinity that you want. And it might have came in clutch here for Nariba, the 6 Scions, 3 Phantoms, and that is some disgusting damage coming out here from Nariba. It wasn't necessarily perfect, it wasn't pretty, but here comes the cleanup crew to seal the deal. Maru, solid run, but you have been eliminated. On the other end, of course, Arthalex was still in this as well. Did they hang on? No, they didn't either. So we lose 2 in that round. Arthalex is going to find themselves in 6th, Maru with a 5th place finish. We are down to our top 4 here in the Streamers Esports DayDream Illuvium tournament. 3 Infernos for Nariba, up against the 5 Fighters, 3 Bulwarks, and the Behemoths. Here for Detective Alané, of course, that Jotun, this thing needs an elimination. Those 2 items it does have on it require takedowns in order to be effective. But it does have the extra backup of that fully powered Earth Lynx, diving in directly towards that Mammoth, already chunking it down to half. But here comes the reinforcements. Where's the damage? Here comes the ram fight to the skies. And that Lynx absolutely got chunked, gonna be taken down. It is all up to the Singe and all up to the Jotun to try and make this work. The Rangers are duking it out in the corner as well. But actually, the sustain might be enough here. They snowballed hard enough. The Jotun is gonna carry Detective Alané to the victory in a well-placed, well-fought-out battle. Even though the Lynx ran into the ramp fight and got taken down pretty well immediately, it did not matter, because that's the beauty of the Mendo skeleton in particular. Every single time you get a takedown, you heal. That bearer is so close to being taken down on a few occasions, but they found the takedown necessary to keep it alive, and alongside the Vorpal was able to get the job done. Was an absolute nasty menace as we now go. Nariba once again on the bubble up against Fury Hype. Rogue's Revenant alongside the Scions and the Phantoms. The poor Quinks in the bottom right is going to get immediately murdered. Meanwhile, Nariba's Mammoth has been soaking the damage nice and cleanly so far here for the red side. Where is the ramp fight? Should be popping up in a second, but the opponents run away, but they don't run away far enough. It's up to the Infernos to try and get the job done, and I don't think they get it done this time. Nariba gonna fall in 4th. Your podium has been decided, but now it's just a matter of where these players end up finishing. Detective Alané, Fury Hype, and the Fancy Pants. Fancy Pants, I believe this is one of their first tournaments here for us. I don't even think they were in the Discord at the time of this tournament. Finding themselves in a top 3. But Fury Hype and Detective Alané going up against it. It's going to be Fancy Pants going up against, I believe it was Fury Hype's Ghost, so we'll have to see what it makes of that later. But the awkward thing here for this battle for Fury, and I believe for the Fancy Pants, is they're both going for some version of Rogue Revenant. So both of these players want each other taken down immediately so they can start rolling and trying to find the rest of their team, because they're basically hindering themselves. It's setting up Detective LNA for a good position to maybe clean up this lobby before their team can be completely flushed out. As we do see again, Detective LNA with many members, the Lynx, Jotun, and the Singe, or the Seer rather, now. So many Illuvials still alive. As we go into another NPC round, probably the last one in theory before the game finishes, we'll have to see. So we see here Detective LNA opting for the Frost, completely ignoring any sort of Rogue Revenant stuff, going for Fighter Behemoth Bulwark, where Behemoths, of course, they heal every single, or no, not heal, they deal a percentage of their max health as physical damage, and they stun as well. If they manage to find themselves a 4th Behemoth and gets the attack speed buff, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, this is what I'm talking about. Fancy Pants going for 7 Rogue, 4 Revenant. They have all 4, they have the Vanguard on top of it, opting for a Bloom and Fire style, but they do not necessarily have fully evolved units as of this moment right now. And that's because Fancy Pants and Fury Hype have both been fighting for the damn same Illuvials. So, granted, Fury Hype does have the fully evolved Tiru, which of course has one of the Revenants, but it's so far into the game and everybody's leveled up so far that even if he does get eliminated, I'm not sure if you'd be able to roll for the fully evolved Tiru. You only have like a 10% chance at like level 7 or something like that, right? So the Illuvials that Fancy Pants would want to take from Fury Hype might not matter if Fury Hype even goes down. These two are going to actually battle it out here. Fury Hype's going to go up against the Ghost of Fancy Pants. Detective LNA up against, I believe it was Fancy Pants, but we'll have to see. I'm curious as to how this one works out. And a nasty, fully loaded slash in here now for the side of Fancy Pants. Going to be absolutely nasty. He's got that Chronoflux, but here comes the ramp fight as well. Lots of low health bars on both sides. To be fair, it's actually pretty close. The numbers advantage is barely in the favor of Fancy Pants. And I think, never mind, it's been put down. Furies just has to deal with the Penguin, but they're not going to be able to deal with the Penguin. It's already too fast and too far gone. Fury Hype has fallen out of this tournament here in the 3rd position. Now it is all up to Detective LNA and Fancy Pants. But again, of course, now that Fury Hype has been eliminated, all of those rogues have been put back onto the table. But again, are we too far gone into the game to be able to get some of those early rogues, some of those early Revenants? You see, Fancy Pants just took the Fighter emblem instead. The one Tiru was there. We do see actually Detective LNA did take it. So oddly enough, situation there. But now, as we go into this possible final round here for this DayDream tournament for Illuvium Arena, Detective LNA versus the Fancy Pants, and what is, I believe, Fancy Pants' first attempt at a DayDream tournament, or at least the first time that I've seen them on stream here in a grand final. Rogue Revenant, I mean, they've got what is stated to be probably the best team composition in the game, with some of the best Illuvials in the game as well, but it is up to Detective LNA, their fighters, Behemoths. They did get the 4 Behemoths alongside the Bulwarks to try and get the job done. They also have a Stabbin trying to get into the fight as well, but all eyes are going to be on that Lynx, that Forest, and that Jotun. And here comes the ramp fight to the skies as well. Does some pretty decent damage, takes care of the foe. It's a 3-on-4, but there's a lot of high health bars. That Jotun is extremely low, but the Mendo skeleton coming on through. It hangs on by a bit, but it's not even needed. The rest of the team is going to be able to clean up. That Seer and that Lynx clean everything up, and that is going to be this Dreamers Esports DayDream Illuvium tournament going over to Detective LNA. They're fighters and Behemoths alongside a couple Bulwarks. Gonna get the job done. 4-3 Frost and Air. shutting down the Rogues and Revenants of Fury Hype and the Fancy Pants. What a run. Of course, Detective Valene, like I was saying, the 5 fighters and Bulwarks and Behemoths. Meanwhile, Fancy Pants, 7 Rogue, 4 Revenant, and the 2 Phantoms. Similar idea here for Fury, 7 Rogue, 4 Revenant, but they opted to go for the 4 Mud, which was pretty interesting, but barely fell to the Fancy Pants and their slashing. OLA's and Ariba going to end up falling, going for the heavy Scion composition. Scion Phantom with the Fire and Inferno style was cool to watch, but ends up falling 4th. Maru with a very respectable finish here in 5th with the 5 Bulwarks, 2 Harbingers, and the 2 Empaths. Just looking to hold the line there with that Magma style composition. Scoriox did work, but not enough this time. Arthalex went for the Nature Wildfire style with the 5 Bulwarks, 4 Empaths. Had the Aegis buff as well. Well, not to complain. Something similar here, but opted for the Templar variant. And then something very similar here for Winnie Monarch with the 6 Nature, 4 Fire, 2 Wildfires, the 4 Bulwarks, and Empaths. But with that, that is the end of that one. The DayDream tournament, of course, won by Detective Valene. Awesome showing. And for those who may have thought that the Rogue Revenant stuff is too far gone, it looks like it is at least mortal. Because at the end of the day, what I don't want to see, or what I would hate to see, is if we got to a point where Rogue Revenant was nerfed so badly that it's basically unusable. I don't want to see that happen. I may hate playing against it, but I still want the composition to be good. It's just, especially before the nerfs, it was overwhelmingly good. It's still probably a little bit above average, but at least 1, people are getting better at playing against it. And 2, because so many people know about it, a lot more players are going for it, and they are cutting each other off before one player can really pop off. Because I have to wonder what would have happened if less players are going for that composition, and if the Fancy Pants had more time to actually level up and find maybe some of those stage 3 Rogues and Revenants that they were looking for a little bit earlier into the game. It very well could have gone to a position where they snowballed and took the lobby. But because there was 3 players all trying to go for Rogue Revenant in some fashion or another, they all did end up cutting each other off, and unfortunately for them, causing them to fall a little bit short. Now, in regards to the stream, we went through that pretty quickly, I'm not gonna lie. We have about another hour or so. Should be enough for 1 round of ranked. So we will try to get that set up in a moment's time here. Quick water break while I load on up here. Loading on in. Now, I've personally been kind of torn as to how I want to play. I know I made the joke earlier in the Dreamers Esports cast that nobody plays water right now. And this has been one of the few times that I've been actually trying to see if I go in with a team composition already in mind. How does it go for me? Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. And I know for a certain extent that is kind of what you're supposed to do. It's more so trying to adjust with what's given to you rather than immediately having a game plan to go for. But at the same time, it helps me focus a little bit, so to speak. So last time that I really tried this kind of style and this kind of mindset, I would always go for, it was really, really early in the game, where I would go for bunker composition pretty much every single time. I would go for heavy nature, verdant wildfire. I know, surprise to absolutely nobody, but I just really, really enjoyed that playstyle. And I'd go for it every time, but the thing is that the Archos is still, even still, a rather popular unit. So I could never really find it. The same thing with the Heady or the Crunk or the Blotto. So it never necessarily worked in the way that I was thinking. I'd never be able to get the composition I wanted. It was very, very similar kind of feeling as if I was trying to roll for Rogue Revenant right now. Might take a little bit to get into a game, it looks like. Of course, this is the dying hours of the night. Maybe I just missed one. I'll wait here for a few minutes, see if we hop into one. In a worst case scenario, just call it an early night, get some editing done tomorrow, and go from there. I know one thing that's been kind of stressing me a little bit. Unfortunately, a lot of my casting opportunities, at least as of late, is getting kind of challenged a little bit just because I'm a VTuber. It's kind of heartbreaking. And it's definitely driving me a little bit nuts. I've been thinking constantly about like what I want to do about it, because of course I am most comfortable like this. But at the end of the day, if it means that I'm getting casting opportunities elsewhere, might have to go back to flesh tuber self or go back to my normal self. But I do understand though, if there was a casting desk, for example, and there's just like a few normal human people, and then there's just me as a VTuber, I get it. It would look a little weird. Would be kind of funny though, but again, if you're trying to put on a proper production, you're not going for funny, unless it's a comedy, but certain events, of course, aren't necessarily comedy. So it may be something that does come on out, and I'll try to give the warning as best as possible for when that does end up happening. All I gotta say is if all of a sudden I am my normal self and I'm not a VTuber, you know it must be good, so just keep that in mind. No, but this is pretty cool. I take a look at the Illuvium Discord. I take a look at the Dreamers Esports Discord. And especially today, I've noticed a ton of new people showing up to both Discords, asking questions and getting involved into the game, and this is exactly what I was hoping for. Like, I want to see this game grow. That's why I've been so gung-ho about making content for it as well. I want to see it grow. And I want to help people get into it, understand it. Just because of the game itself. It's awesome seeing people here, again, because of the game itself. I know there's an unfortunate certain amount of people, especially in the Illuvium Discord, where not a single feature or idea can go by without somebody mentioning the Illuvium token and what it'll do when's the price going to go up. But to that, first off, 90% of the time, I completely ignore that kind of talk because I come with one rule of thumb, which isn't always 100% accurate. But I figure if the game is good, just like a stock, if the company is good, the price goes up naturally. We shouldn't have to do anything to manufacture or inflate it. Just let the devs keep doing what they're doing. I know they're trying hard. But all the love to the devs and all the staff members and whatnot. I'm not trying to kiss ass, but I mean, I just enjoy the game a ton, even in its current state. And I can't wait to see where it goes further. Heck, I don't even have necessarily anything to ride on it. Do I even have a referral code as a content creator for Illuvium? No, I don't. Do I really care? Not really. I'm just enjoying myself. I mean, maybe, of course, I'll ask for one if the situation presents itself, but it's not my main concern. I'm just happy that more eyes have gone onto the game. More people are interested. The Illuvium Pro League's going well. First week was pretty exciting. Take some of the clips that I did a little bit earlier and then try and maybe take a few stream clips from the tournament itself and see if I can do a recap of sorts. Alright, a game must have just finished because the players are slowly but surely starting to crawl into the lobby here, so looks like we will get one game before we call it a night here tonight. Sweetie mommy, that was absolutely adorable, and I love you. Show off the handsome face, you mean the non-stop resting bitch face that you have to deal with every day? That always sounds angry? Or not always sounds angry, but always looks angry, but it's just because I'm focused? I know what you mean. I love you. Speaking of new people, I don't really recognize anybody in this lobby that I'm playing with here, so this is kind of exciting, and this is one of the regions that I actually really like playing on. The Halcyon Sea allows me for one free reroll every single round, so I can kind of stack them up and use them when I wish. Yeah, I might have played with Conquer before, but I don't remember anybody else right now in this lobby. And that's awesome too, and the majority of them, or at least half of them anyway, have Illuvatars, so they've been around for at least a little bit. Now, optimally, of course, this part is all random, but I'm really hoping to keep getting these Defiance components, because the big problem with the composition that I'm looking to run is that it doesn't end up being very tanky. It doesn't hold the line very well. So, the more of these I can get, so I can get my augments to keep myself healthy, the better. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Can I get a third? No, I'll take it though. Okay. Let's see. I'll take the adaptive. I got a couple more of my water friends here. If I can just tuck my tail in right here, make my Atipo my tank, give you a boost of damage. That Valente is going to dive directly into my Fleege, so I'm going to position my Ranger here. It is probably going to get it killed, but no, it actually swapped and went for the Tofi, so I don't really mind. I think this is good. This is going to go directly into the Valente. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Shields keep me alive a little bit longer. Tofi, can you get one more shot in, please? Yes, you can. We should take this round. Oh, greetings, Validori. That is kind of what I'm looking for. Do I get a grass variant? No, I'm taking the water. And I get one of the tanks that I go for in the later stages, so I'm pretty excited about that. So because I have this gun, this makes it a little bit more of a priority target that I want to keep alive. Does some decent damage. This guy did level up. Do I have something that I would put it in with? I think so. Give me my tank. Let me reposition one more time. Close. And then I need to put that the adaptive carapace on my next round onto my Cling. So as you can see, it kind of got focused down. It should be getting chunked out, but it is allowing for my Atipo to live here. Can I get another shield, maybe? One more? Sick. Okay. Hopefully the Fleege to Tofi and Ranger can take this down. Just gotta deal with the Joey. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Energy regen is nice. Rogue, I don't care. Nature, I don't mind, but it wasn't necessarily what I was going for. I don't mind. Well, let's go for energy. When in doubt, go for energy. So I want to take my Tipo off the board. You can have this. This turns you into a tsunami, eh? Okay, interesting. Excuse me. I don't necessarily go for the Tofi, but I mean, if I'm going to level up here in a minute, I might as well. A misplay here as I'm going up against Zod is that I left their Greater Water Fleece unattended, so it's going to fire its beam directly into my Ranger, which is not the most tankiest of fellas, but the root actually saved me. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're actually in good shape then. If we can take care of the Groko, here comes the next laser. The shield from the Atipo coming in clutch again, and now he took it out. I don't know if we're going to win this one, but at least it's going to be even. Good damage onto their Ranger. Come on, Fleesh. I know I've slandered you in the past and called you garbage. Please, you can take out an Atipo, right? Take out the damn Atipo through the shield. Please. Yes, okay. I've slandered you for too long. Rise against the Fleesh slander. As an ass cat cheers in the background for that victory. So optimally make it to the next round. We'll level up into get another bulwark out there. I'm gonna put my Ling here with the intent to catch the Valente, but it does not catch, of course, the Rogue. But at least it's going on the Tatofi, who could tank up here for just a second, please. It does, but my Ranger does not get saved this time. There's lots of low health bars on their side, but it is going to be for naught. I did not account for the Ranger being a rogue as well, and I'm gonna pay for that one. Lose that round. Yeah, so I want to level up. This is the NPC rounds, though, so I might just wait a second. Caribou is something that I do want to keep. So I now have my 3 main tanks. I have the Atlas, I have the Cling, I have the Cardillo. Now I just need to level them up. Which, after I level up to 5 here, in theory means I gotta kind of put myself on pause. I'm gonna take a look and try and see, is anybody else hard pushing for the characters that I want? Nobody's going for it. So this could be the perfect scenario to level up once and roll at level 5 to see if I can get Atlas, Cling, and the Caribous. Health-wise, I'm doing pretty good. If I get first pick, I want the Cling. Otherwise, just pick a tier 3 so I can sell it for big money. The Cling's literally handing itself to me here. This streamer luck or what, I have no idea, but I'm getting exactly what I'm hoping for. So only need to find the one more Cling to get Twine. It's pretty huge. And Tatofi even levels up. I wasn't even aiming for that, but I'll take it. Let's see, Essence Siphon. Let's go for Essence Siphon. Attack or health, I mean, we'll give you the health buff. Let's get you to the next level so that Atlas can come join. Then roll a few times, especially since I have them for free right now. Caribou, Atlas, Caribou. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, my Atipo, as awesome as it's been, is of the air affinity, which is kind of going against what I'm looking for. I do see that the player that's in front of me here is actually using the Axon. So the likelihood of me being able to find an Axodon is probably pretty low. But I have a play in mind here for this next round. As we scrape by with that one. So Atipo, thank you for your service. We'll put you down. By bringing in the Cardalo, I now have 4 water, so I'm getting additional buffs. If I change the Scion over to Toxic, I now get the Toxic buff for combining my water and grass. I get Harbinger because I do have the Axodon. And then everything is coming into place. While this battle is happening, I am going to check one more time and see if anybody else has Caribou or Cardalo. At least not on the field, so what this is telling me, after this round, I can try to make a push to get Cardalox. And if I can get that absolute behemoth of a bull as my frontline tank, that would be absolutely outstanding. I say that, but I see Zod has one literally right in front of me. That's the second time I've done that, oh my goodness. Upon seeing that, I am now not going to push too heavily. I'm going to focus on getting up to 70 credits, I think, or close to 70. And getting, sure enough, right there, Riptor. My amazing little water fighter. I can trade you out. I can spread out the team now a little bit as well. If I really wanted to. Let's put on there bonus damage for my little scorpion friend. Put you here to slow down my own scorpion so that they go together. And they opted to not go against or go together anyway. Big damage there onto that headshot. That thing is dead basically already. It did not live anywhere near as long as I was hoping. That entire strategy revolved around having a tank actually follow my Riptor around. And safe to say that didn't exactly work as intended. It did look like the player 2 that I was playing, Faladori, their team just switched positions all of a sudden on me, so nothing I could really do about that. Okay, additional damage, additional Omega. Could also switch to... I personally love this weapon. To give myself, like... I don't know. Personally, I think I'm going to do it. So instead of that, I'm going to put you... Toxic Arcanite. I've now hit my 70 threshold for gold. Clear off my bench a little bit. Take these to Tophies just in case. And hopefully I actually defend myself. I did not do a very good job of defending myself against these rogues, however. Especially my poor Riptor immediately gets ripped apart. Some decent damage from the Ranger, but is it going to be enough here? Taunts comes on through here from my Bull. My Axon over in the corner there is getting pretty wrecked, so I'm in a very, very awkward spot here. But the main intent for, I think, the next couple of rounds is just to level up. Even if I take a small beating, I'm still at 83 health, so it's not terrible by any means. Tier 5, I don't want to rely on Tier 5. For fun energy, 5% is nothing. Random Tier 3 units, so that would end up being Riptor. Maybe some tanks, I think I'm gonna go for it with the hope that I get a couple additional Tier 3s. Oh, that does count as Cling already too, so I have 1, 2... I have room for 1 more for the buff. So now, given the situation, I would love to be able to find a red fragment and a yellow fragment out of this NPC round, whether it be for tankiness or whether it be for damage. Because I will have 3 toxic if I get 1 more Riptor. Legendary crate. Oh, that could be fun too. Oh, so was Eternal Hunger. I think we're going Eternal Hunger. We're going to try and crack out this Riptor as we level it up. Beautiful. Okay. What I'm realizing as well, this Twine needs to not have the adaptive Carapace. That should be going over to Cartolo. There's 1 level. By adding back my Fleesh, this will give me 4 water. And if I can try and refresh for something. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be doing that. That might be a bit of misplay. Oh, we're getting somewhere. There's the Riptor. Come on. Come on, Riptorus. There we go. It was a wise choice to make those switches. That very well might have been the difference maker between that round going my way or not. Part of me wants to keep rolling here at level 1 to see if maybe I can find some of these stray Cartelos. I am nearly there. Right, attack speed. For every 3rd Omega? That's kind of rough. I don't mind this one, actually. Tanky Mammoth would be interesting. Flare's not bad either. Or do I want to hustle and try and get my tier 3, assuming I'm not getting my Cartolo? Or my Cartolox. Part of me just wants to say YOLO and go for it. Oh, there's 1. Alright, last Tipo. Oh, I'm running out of space badly here. There is so much I want to do. Oh, we got it. Oh, we got it. I'm obviously not positioned at all. I was too busy trying to roll, but that's kind of huge here. Stay alive here, Riptorus. Damn. Yeah, my positioning is going to falter me, but I do get the Ox that I was looking for. And now the decision is, do I go for a hyper-greedy move and try to get Sepphoris as well? And maybe Exodon? There's 1. Yeah, literally the 2 characters that I could roll for right now, nobody is using. I normally do not play like this. I would normally just up to level up. But I'm tempted. There is next to nothing good for me on this board, so I just want whatever has a red fragment to maybe finish off my Riptor's build. So I'll take the bird. It's just weird because I have the Scion. So what I optimally need is maybe 1 more fighter to kind of coincide my guy, or maybe even an Arcanite. But it's literally all coming together here. But first things first, let's get ourselves situated here. This is kind of nuts. We'll go for that. Interesting, but I'm not going for you. Oh my god, the Exodon. Okay. We've got that. Can we get... Oh my goodness, this is literally Christmas! If you ever want to see the definition of streamer luck, take a look at that last couple of seconds. That was absurd. Oh my god, I keep getting my poor Riptor just destroyed here. A lot of my damage right now is completely on the back of the Sephoris and this Riptorus here. And I keep diving it and losing it into the fray of these rogues or of these divers. But at least I have some backup here. Exodon, pop your shields. There we go. Good damage. Still got a little bit of a tank line. Fire away. Just a matter of mitigating the damage. How many can we get? There's so many low health bars here. Please give me a few. Okay, come on, come on. Hang in there. One more shot, one more shot, one more shot. Ah, okay. All things considered, not terrible. Okay. I need to keep Riptor safe now. Really badly. Move you over. Fleesh, you've done your work. Archie's here. Not Archie. Alfie's here. Okay. Twine. Hold the line for Alfie. These two hold the line. Okay, I had to do that pretty quickly, but we got the job done. Yeah, this way, exactly. My Riptor gets the chance to move, but it did put a lot of pressure onto my rogue, not my rogue, but on my ranger. But it might not matter. Hang in there, Cardalox. Not having another tank item for him is really hurting me right now. Come on, guys. My mages keep getting charmed until finally that damn Winx goes down. Or not the Winx goes down, but something else went down. The Winx is still there. But they kind of ran out of damage dealers, so I think we're finally back on the board here. And just out of greed, let's take the squeeze as well. Okay, now I need to level. I've got the level 1s. Literally every level 1 that I could, or every tier 1 that I could have possibly wanted here has fallen into my pocket in a beautiful, beautiful fashion. So optimally, I need to get a Scarabok up to a Goliath so that I have the Granite. And I also need to be able to level up my Alfie. And then possibly, can we get something going with Riptor? Nobody's got a Riptor right now. This is exactly the double bloom damage for that item is exactly what I like. Squeeze. Squeeze in there. Okay. This gets me up to level 7. Slightly try and play nice, level up. And at level 8, that is when I'm going to start to make my moves. I still have a lot of faith here into this Riptorus to get the job done. I don't have a fighter to really back it up. What I'm looking for, or what I'm looking at now, is what can I do to maybe help my ranger get better, because I've got the toxic, 3 toxics right now. There's the 1 bloom, there's the 2nd bloom. Should be able to take that down quickly. Come on, guys. Sheesh, that bunker combo actually kind of wrecked me. Yeah, that one's gonna hurt. Okay. Titan Boon and Nature. Oh, I'm kind of torn. I don't think I'm getting 5 Bulwarks this time, so I'm just gonna rely on the items. There's the Scarabok, so that's actually not bad. So if I went... I bring back the bull. Back in there. Adaptive. Titan. Make you nature as well. Give you more health. And of course we're going up against a damn ramp fight. This is kind of scary. I don't like my positioning right now at all. We did sandwich it. It doesn't have a way to dodge. The taunt, can we get it? We did get it. The taunt from the bull stopped the ramp fights. Is that going to be enough, though? That Monarch's still scary. Big Alfie shot there onto the squeeze. But I'm running out of firepower. Oh god, is the Quink's going to be the thing that seals the deal for me here? Yeah. The Monarch was pretty decent, too. Damn, okay. Okay, Alfie leveling up's huge. I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to load Alfie, or what is now the Sinalf. With the energy buff. Give those. Okay, rogues are coming to play once again. I need that next level. Scarabok can play. Let's see if I can catch the rogues in the pit again. Okay. Going after Riptorus immediately, which again I'm not pleased about, but how about this water gun? Oh, I don't know how to feel about this one. This doesn't look too good. Shoot. Alright, this is getting worrisome, but now I've at least got level 8. I've got the basis for the team that I want. I just need a tank line. And it's time to roll for it, I think. There's Alfie. If I can level that up, that'd be a nice bonus as well. I just realized, technically I could be going for Verdant right now, can't I? Yeah, there we go. Oh, we're gassing it. It is kind of heartbreaking that out of all of that, I did not find another big enough to level up my Scarabok, because yeah, this thing is just going to end up popping. It is nice that we've leveled up both our mages, so we're doing a ton of damage. It is just a very scary time when you have to strictly rely so heavily on your positioning because you don't have the tank line. This is why I love 5 Bulwark so much, just because I love having so much backup. Oh, I'm not the lowest in the lobby, but I get to go. And I get the ace with the health. That way I can sell it. At the same time, I kind of wanted the purple. Would have loved to have been able to give my Alfie some more damage. Okay. Yeah, heartbreakingly, I am not finding anything for my guys, but let's see. Axodon, what do you get? Guardian's Grid, I will absolutely take that. Hopefully I get a purple out of here. A red would be alright as well. Just don't give me another yellow unless you give me 2. An ace, you can be sold off. I'd love to kind of get the Matu in here as well. That'd be pretty exciting. Because even though the Matu is a tank, it counts as a Scion, so it would buff. I can maybe make the push. 4-6, composite. The Verdant chip is kind of hype, actually. So is the other one, too. Okay. Let's redo this one more time. Take the Carapace, take the health, take the Verdant, give Axodon the nature buff. Sanalf, you can take that. You've got the one. Let's give you Arcane Accelerator for late game pushing. We know those rogues are going to be diving. They're going to be diving in hot in just a moment's time. Optimally, I think I should have that Axodon and the Sanalf, the Scarabux switching places. So here comes the Melora. Although it is just going for my Sephoris, which is going to be able to reduce damage taken. Oh, Sanalf nearly got chunked, but good damage. Can we pop this thing? Pop it, pop it. No, it is going to fall. Oh, we're going to get crushed here, I think. Unless I can get a good ranger, I'll just pop a bunch of these. Like I'm sitting in my puddle, but it's not doing nothing. Nope, this might not be going into our favor. We've got one more push. Push isn't going to be enough to level things up, so I might have to drop Scarabok. Okay, Scarabok get dropped, bring the 2 in. And then let's do our free rolls. Okay, there's one. Watch, now I get the damn Scarabok. Yeah, sure enough, that's going to be the case. Scarabok goes back in. Can I find Riptor? Can I find one more? That'd be ridiculous. Nope, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. And I did not position myself at all. Let's see if I die. Can we pop this damn pterodactyl? Oh, no, we did not. Yeah, I gotta credit to the players that, of course, play the game. They are so much faster at this than I am. I may not have known anybody in this lobby, but it does not mean that they aren't threatening. Did I fall out an 8th there? We'll see, some of those battles are still going. Yeah. Ramp fight was absolutely terrifying. Oh, we actually did better than I thought. Did everybody just die on the same round? Oddly enough, I think a lot of us did. Alright. Well, that ended up better than I expected. But that's what I love about this. Like, I can go back, like, when I lose, I have a feeling of, like, I know what I did wrong. And I honestly find that, like, extremely valuable. Like, if I'm losing a game and I'm just angry, like, I don't know what happened, I just got killed off, and, like, oh, there's no counterplay, I don't know what I'm doing, what happened, like, that makes me upset. But all these Illuvium games, when I come out of the game, it always feels like, oh, if I just did this a little bit differently, maybe I would have had a better shot. And in that game, it's no different there. There's a few times where I did get greedy with credits. Especially, I think, that last rolling play. That's something I'm going to have to kind of study myself on a little bit as a player, because, yeah, I went from 70 down to 0 without, I think, a major... Well, I guess there was the spike in regards to the Scarabok and the Lions leveling up. So it's not that it was necessarily for naught, but there's a little bit of chance involved. But there's always something that you can kind of study and try again for. One of the many reasons why I love this game. And from what it sounds like, this is just one part of it. Love the arena, love the overworld. Zero is cool. I do hope for some eventual improvements for Zero. But understandably so, it is the support game of the series, not the main game, so the fact that it's not getting any love doesn't necessarily bother me, but I do look forward to updates eventually. In regards to Friday's stream, we will have the opportunity because the IPL sit and go portion of the IPL 500 would have taken place already. So we can probably see the results and give some rough guesstimates as to what to expect for day 2. Then after that, we'll have to see. Maybe we talk about the Illuvials themselves. Maybe we play some ranked. Maybe we record another video of sorts. We'll figure out in a few days' time. But as always, it's still plenty of fun. And I've been, again, enjoying myself this last month, just making content and creating things constantly for Illuvium. It's been fun, the community has been awesome, and that's what keeps me going. But of course, once again, big thank you to everybody who tuned in for this live. Absolutely. To the family that tuned in, of course, lots of love to you. Thank you so much for the support. And of course, everybody else tuning in as well, thank you for the support. But it is 10:30 my time. It's time to call it a night. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you on Friday.